As it was confirmed in 9.2, the Lich King is just no more. This seems to be the official end. The Helm of Domination was turned into the Crown of Wills. The remnants of the Scourge were under the direct control of the Jailer, and their current status is completely unclear. Seeing as we will defeat the Jailer, there will be no Lich King to control them other than just destroying them. Is it actually possible to get the Scourge to become an allied race? For example, the Sandline vampire-like Fallen Blood Elves that served Arthas directly, or even the Fallen Drakari Trolls. Could at least a portion of the Scourge become a future allied race? Record your raids, arenas, Mythic Plus, or with Squadowy, the app that you just install, and it records itself without a click of a button. Aside from watching your friend's perspective and analyzing your performance, you can see complete encounter stats, spell visualizations, and a bunch of other things. Best of all, it can be done from anywhere just from the web app. Check out Squadowy completely free with my link in the description. The current status and the numbers and everything regarding the actual structure of the Scourge is completely unclear. We know for a fact that they were in shambles and severely weakened all the way back when Arthas was defeated, but they were mostly kept in control by Bolvar until Shadowlands. Well, as Sylvanas just marched in, broke the crown in the sky, they were let loose, and we had that minor pre-expansion patch where they just wreaked havoc upon Northrend, although they never really were that big of a threat. We, without a doubt, culled quite a bit of their numbers, but they still exist and they're still around. Some real quick 9.3 spoilers if you have not followed the story, but at this point it is all but confirmed that the Lich King will never again exist. About a month ago or so, we got a datamine cinematic named Reforging the Helm and the new Helm Domination model, which got us to believe that a new Lich King will be forged to maintain control over the Scourge. However, recent information and that cinematic actually being released pretty much just completely debunked that. We learned that the Helm Domination was turned into the so-called Crown of Wills, and that this helmet was then given to the new Arbiter of the Shadowlands, Pelagos. Even Sylvanas herself said that the Lich King will never rule in Icecrown again, so that is pretty much the official confirmation. Other than ruining the helm and its history, it kinda makes sense, as the Lich King really doesn't serve a purpose anymore. I mean, we are in the Shadowlands, we're fighting his creator, but then we get one big question: what exactly is going to happen with the Scourge? Sure, Lich King will never rule in Icecrown again, but there was kind of a reason that Bolvar took the helm, one of them being to keep the massive undead hordes in check. I know Shadowlands lore kinda changed and retconned that, and we learned that the main role of Bolvar was to keep the Jailer from reaching the Azeroth, but maintaining control over undead was still one of the reasons, without a doubt, as a large part of the former massive Scourge remained. As I said, it is hard to speculate what will happen exactly because we don't have any actual concrete data. We don't know whether only 10% of the Scourge remains or it is more akin to like 50%. We also don't know how many we destroyed before we reached the Shadowlands in the pre-patch. As we know, when the sky broke, it was Zowal that took direct command over them, and as far as we know, they're still attacking while we're doing all this stuff in the Shadowlands. Since Blizzard gave us approximately about zero info on what is going back on Azeroth, more than likely we can speculate that the likes of Terrellian and all the people on Azeroth are just dealing with this attack, and they are more than likely winning or are just destroying the Scourge numbers. However, I think it is unlikely that they're just going to completely remove the Scourge, like that there won't be any remnants of this once massive undead army. So this brings us to the question, could the Scourge become a playable race, an allied one? I know, immediately you may be thinking, that just sounds just so incredibly stupid. First off, most of them are just mindless zombies, most wouldn't even work as an allied race, and are they not just serving the Jailer and attacking us as we speak? Now, I agree 100% with this, but I think when we examine all the details, there's actually quite a bit of room to make this entire allied race a thing like actually realistic. Like not actually just like YouTuber crazy speculation realistic, but like actually realistic in game. One big part of the puzzle is that the Jailer is actually defeated in 9.2 and they lose their master. As you know, almost all the Scourge minions are pretty much just like the Forsaken, only that they didn't break free and they were dominated. But obviously if they broke free, they could join a faction just like the Forsaken did. Since the Jailer is defeated and there is no Lich King, there won't be a single entity out there that would control their mind, so theoretically they could completely become independent. Nothing indicates that the Scourge is just attacking us for the sake of attacking us, for the sake of being malicious. We were told in the past that the undead would attack, but as we know, that was because there was no Lich King and the Jailer would take control, meaning he would lead them, which is why there was this line, there must always be a Lich King. Seeing that there is no one to lead them now, there is no reason that they couldn't just become a new version of the Forsaken or even the Knights of the Ebony Blade. Like, why can't they just join us? Now, a big problem here is, what even is the Scourge? Seriously, there is like 50 various races and types that are a part of the Scourge, and let's be real, like 90% of them just wouldn't even work no matter how they frame them. We immediately got to discount the brainless parts, the ghouls, the zombies, and all the giants, the flash giants, and flying creatures such as the frostworms and the gargoyles. While I'd personally like to play an Abomination, I can't say they're exactly playable race material, so this leaves us with a few select races that could 100% work. The least likely could be Liches. While cool, and now with the Maldraxxus twist, I think they would not work with the customization, and they're probably just super few in numbers. So we're kinda left mainly with the Fallen playable races. As you know, most of the Drukhari trolls fell under the Scourge invasion and they were raised into undeath. Them being freed could lead to joining the likes of the Zandalari or the Darkspear, so Death Knight trolls with a very specific model that is still not yet playable. The Undead Vrykul could also work if Vrykul were to become playable race. However, in my opinion, the most likely playable race could be the Sandline, known as the Dark Fallen. Essentially, undead blood elves that served Keltas but fell in the attack on the Icecrown Citadel. You may not be aware, but some of them actually already joined the Horde back in BFA and were taken in by Sylvanas, as their numbers were quite few and they had no home left. We also learned that they were able to grow their ranks and their fate right now isn't completely clear. Seeing that the Scourge was completely broken, maybe more could join and they could become a fully fledged playable race. It would 100% be possible, as we already have a bunch of variations of elves in the game, so this could just be one more. However, other than the Sandline, the only other possible options could be Banshees or other fallen elves such as Dark Rangers. As we know, some remained under Scourge's control. This, with the entire Sylvanas reconnecting with herself, could totally work. Now, I am aware some of these ideas kinda sound ridiculous, but we have two major things that could make this possible and just completely realistic. First is Zovaal, their ultimate creator, being defeated, and maybe in the end, we could get all the undead to reconnect with their souls from the Maw, and with Sylvanas leading as the example and becoming more normal, so they could just like, I don't even know, like just reconnect. Second is the possible Dragon Isles expansion that has been speculated upon, and the focus lately being on Northrend. As we can see, Northrend has been the focus of multiple speculations, and that is where the remnants of the Scourge are mainly, most of them. We also have the possible recreation of Lordran, as that area right now is completely contested and unclear, and as you know, the Scourge played a part quite a bit in the destruction of Lordran. The fate of the Forsaken that are actually playable race is completely unclear as well, because they were hit really hard in BFA and they lost their leader, so it is entirely possible that they may just be looking to reinforce their numbers. And just think about it, if the new undead broke free from the Scourge, what are they if not Forsaken? They're by definition Forsaken, just newer generations, so it would 100% be realistic for them to accept newly freed undead. As with any expansion, obviously there will be some big threat, and as we didn't get any allied races in Shadowlands, the Forsaken could be looking to expand their numbers and to take in all the Scourge refugees. If done right, I think this could make for some really interesting player choices, especially as we had an undead faction with a bunch of these creatures all the way back in Warcraft 3. Thank you for watching. Check out most of the Get Be Free by clicking on the screen, and check out Arnold's Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.